Good evening, everyone, and this is Sean for the WorldCupNow.com, bringing you your Barclays Fantasy Premier League tips for Game Week 12. And there's not much to say about this week as I go into it a little bit more into my post, but post international breaks always tend to be a little bit tricky because players fall out of form and players kind of spring into form after these breaks. So I go into it a little bit more in my post, but I'll go through some stuff in the video to help you guys out, and we'll go into the screenshot. But just gonna let you know it is gonna be brief this week, and it's kind of like a sit and hold mentality for this week. Okay, so just switching over here, as you can see in the screencast, I am sporting the mustache. If you're aware of Movember, if you're supporting Movember by growing a mustache, or you're a Mo sister and you're aware of your boyfriend or friends who have mustaches and enduring the pain, we appreciate it. It's for a good cause. It raises a lot of funds for men's health and men's mental health issues, and it's very important to me. It's always something that's been close to the heart, and it's been 3 years running for me. So again, check it out if you haven't, Movember.com. So that's just on a side note. Now, as you can see, just on my website here, you can see last week or last game week that there was a doubt about Silva playing, and now again this week he's going to be flown back on private jet, but he's got an early game, and Sturridge is showing 75% after this week's game. So Liverpool are looking a little weak up front, and it's kind of putting some questions in a lot of people or a lot of fantasy managers' minds. As I said in the beginning, it's always hard to assess who's going to be good, who's going to fall off form, and who's going to surprise you. So it's always good. As much as I hate it, I find that international breaks always tend to shake up the league, and those who've taken a little bit of a risk, sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm hoping that in my case, with the recent acquisition of Benteke into my fantasy team, that his favorable run of fixtures, he'll at least be able to get a few goals, get into form, and get another price rise, because I've already been lucky enough to get one already. So as I said, if we'll just jump in here, looking at my front line, I've got Benteke and Sturridge that are showing yellows, and I'm just actually going to take a quick look and go to the status. This always shows you recently injured people or who's injured at the moment. Should be down here, and let's see, you know what, it's not going to let me pick, but you can see, you got Thomas on Crystal Palace, Ashley Cole, Sturridge, Rat on West Ham, Benteke, Collins, O'Brien, Eriksson. So injuries, and I'm just going to pause this, injuries always have a way of finding their way into your team. That's when you come to rely on your bench. But I think this week there's not really so many tips. I don't really have people to look for right now, simply because it's too hard to assess. So stick with your team, try and save your transfers this week, because after this week you might want to do some transfers. So if you have 2 free transfers, right now I have 1. This week I'm not going to use it going in next week. So hypothetically speaking, let's say Walcott comes back and plays a full 90, even though it's doubtful that he will. But he comes back, plays a full 90, gets a goal and assist. And in addition to that, it turns out that Sturridge is actually more injured than it is. Then you can have the option of doing a double transfer. You bring in Walcott from someone else, and vice versa. So it's always good to have that after the game week. So you always want to have at least 1 free transfer going into the game week, so that way you can save it for after, and then you can position yourself moving forward for the next run of games going into the holiday season. So on that note, I thank you very much for watching. As always, I appreciate all your comments, your emails, and your team recommendations, or if you're looking for who's good and who's to choose for. But again, it's good to be back. Best of luck,